a.m., January 24th, 1943. Second Lieutenant John George is neck-deep in a bomb crater filled with cold rainwater. He isn't holding a standard-issue Army rifle. He's gripping a Winchester Model 70, a sporting rifle, a deer hunting gun. 42 yards away, Japanese infantry are moving toward him. He can hear their boots sucking in the mud. He has 2 rounds in the magazine, but there are 6 men coming to kill him. Actually, he shouldn't be here. He should be back at the command post, listening to his superior officers laugh at his toy rifle. That's what they called it. A mail-order sweetheart, a civilian plinker. But right now, that toy is the only thing standing between John George and dying in the mud. 23 seconds. That's how long he has until they see him. Suddenly, a Japanese soldier steps up to the edge of the ditch right beside him. He was looking straight at him. Their eyes meet, and then... To understand why a 27-year-old officer was hunting men with a deer rifle, you have to look at the numbers. The M1 Garand is a beautiful weapon, semi-automatic, 8 rounds, reliable. But in 1943, it had iron sights. At 300 yards, a man's head is the size of a pin. John George knew this. Back in Illinois, he was a state champion marksman. He knew that you can't hit what you can't see. So when the 132nd Infantry Regiment shipped out, George didn't pack standard issue. He packed his own money. He bought a Winchester Model 70. He fitted it with a Lyman Alaskan scope. He requested it be shipped through military mail. When he opened that crate in the supply tent, the armorer looked at him like he was insane.
Is this for deer or Germans, Lieutenant?
Captain Morris, his commanding officer, told him to leave the sporting rifle in his tent and carry a real weapon. He ordered George to carry the Garand. George disobeyed. Why? Because of what happened on January 19th. The 132nd had relieved the Marines at a place called Point Cruz. The terrain was a nightmare. Coconut groves, massive banyan trees with trunks 8 feet thick. And in those trees were sniper ghosts of Japan. On January 19th, Corporal Davis was filling canteens at a creek. A single shot rang out, and Corporal Davis was no more. On January 20th, 2 men from L Company died on patrol. On January 21st, 3 more, shot through the neck. The battalion was bleeding to death. 14 men in 72 hours. They fired thousands of rounds into the trees. They hit nothing. The Japanese snipers were invisible. They picking off Americans like deer. That night, the battalion commander summoned George. The laughing stopped. The mockery was gone. He looked at George, exhausted, desperate, and asked one question.
Can that mail-order gun actually hit anything?
George didn't blink.
6-inch groups at 600 yards, sir.
The commander gave him until dawn. 9:17 a.m., January 22nd. George is alone. No spotter, no radio, just a canteen, 60 rounds of .30 hunting ammo, and the rifle they told him not to bring. He is sitting in the ruins of a Japanese bunker, watching a banyan tree 240 yards away. The jungle is loud. Birds, insects. But George isn't listening. He's looking. Through the Lyman scope, the world is magnified 2.5 times. It's not much, but it's enough. He scans left to right, top to bottom. Movement. Not a bird. A branch shifting against the wind. 87 feet up. George steadies his breathing. His heart rate drops. This is the difference between a soldier and a marksman. A soldier shoots at the area. A marksman shoots at the button on a shirt. The Japanese sniper is watching the trail to the east, waiting for a supply column. The trigger breaks at exactly 3.5 pounds. The sniper doesn't scream. He just falls. A 90-foot drop. Thud. George doesn't cheer. He doesn't move. He works the bolt. Clack, clack. New round. because Japanese snipers work in pairs. 26 minutes of silence. George hasn't moved a muscle. Sweat is stinging his eyes, but he doesn't wipe it. Then, movement. 60 yards north. The second sniper is climbing down, trying to run. George tracks him, leads the target. The second man falls backward. 2 shots, 2 kills. But George doesn't stop there. He waits, takes the shot, and by noon he'd taken out 5 Japanese snipers. 5. The entire battalion hadn't killed one sniper in 3 days. Only one man with a toy rifle just cleared the sector. But here is where the story shifts. 3:57 p.m. George kills his 6th sniper. A hard shot, 290 yards out. But this time, there's a response. Mortars. They aren't shooting at random anymore. They've triangulated his muzzle flash.
Fire!
The first shell lands 40 yards short. The second, 20 yards. They are bracketing him. They are doing the math. George grabs the Winchester and sprints. He dives into a shell crater just as his previous position, the bunker, disintegrates in a cloud of dirt and shrapnel. He lies in the mud, chest heaving. He realizes something terrifying. They know who he is. They know there is a hunter in the trees. And now, they are hunting him back. George walks back into the command post. He is covered in sweat and cordite dust. Captain Morris is waiting. George reports the kill. Captain Morris looks at the Winchester, then at George.
How many left?
6, sir!
Yesterday, Morris had laughed at the mail-order rifle. He had called it a toy. Today, he doesn't laugh. He stares at the bolt handle of the Winchester. He stares at George's hands. The mockery is gone. In its place is something else. Respect. Or maybe fear. Be back in position at dawn, Morris says. January 23rd began with rain. Heavy, tropical rain that turned the jungle floor into mud and made the trees invisible beyond 100 yards. George sits in the captured Japanese bunker. He hugs the Winchester to his chest, protecting the scope with his body. Water kills optics. If moisture gets inside the lens, the hunt is over. He waits. 8:15 a.m. The rain stops. George lifts the rifle. He wipes the lens. He settles the stock against his shoulder. He begins the grid search. Today with new location. He spots sniper number 7. A mistake in camouflage. A patch of uniform that doesn't match the leaves. George fires. 7 down. 15:41 p.m. Sniper number 8. This one is positioned high, 94 feet up a banyan tree. It's a perfect spot at noon, but the sun moves. At 16:23 p.m., George fires. And number 8 down. As the afternoon light shifts, the sniper's silhouette is cast against the bright sky. He is a black cutout against the blue. George puts the crosshairs on the silhouette. 9th down, 1700 hours. He reports to Morris. The numbers are clinical. 12 rounds fired, 9 kills, 3 misses. Morris nods. Go again tomorrow. That night, George sits in his tent. He strips the Winchester down to its springs and pins. He cleans the mud from the trigger group. He oils the bolt. And he does the math. Intelligence confirmed 11 snipers operating in the Point Cruz sector. George has killed 9. 2 remain. The 2 men left out there? They aren't lucky. They are the best. They have watched their friends die. They know George's tactics. They know his rhythm. Next day, January 24th. George is sweating against the rocks. Through the Lyman scope, he spots target number 10, a Japanese soldier, sitting in a palm tree 190 yards out. But something's wrong. The target is low, only 40 feet off the ground. Too easy. Most snipers climb for the stars to get the best angle. This guy is sitting on a platter. George starts to squeeze the trigger. Then he stops. It's bait. He's killed 9 men in 3 days. The enemy isn't stupid. They wouldn't leave a man that exposed unless they wanted George to shoot him. George lowers the rifle. He ignores the easy kill. He starts scanning the empty trees around the palm. He checks every branch, left to right, top to bottom. 11 minutes pass. Then he sees it. The real threat. 80 yards northwest of the bait, a massive banyan tree, 90 feet up.
The second sniper is buried in vines, watching the palm tree. He's waiting for a muzzle flash.
The second George shoots the bait, this guy will put a bullet in George's head. George does the math. If he waits, they find him. If he shoots the banyan sniper first, the sound gives him away before he can cycle the bolt. He decides to flip the script. He swings the rifle back to the bait in the palm tree. He exhales. Crack. The soldier in the palm jerks and falls. George doesn't watch him land. He rips the bolt back and swings hard to the northwest. Up in the banyan, the real sniper hears the shot. He turns his head toward the sound. That movement